All right, fellow YouTubers, I had decided to, I've been looking over my guitar lesson suggestion box on the playlist on the YouTube channel, and a lot of you have been leaving requests, and I really appreciate that. I've been debating on which one to do next, and it seemed like there's a lot of Tony Rice fans out there. So I decided to do the one called the request that a guy named Lance Anderson made for the Tony Rice unit originally Untitled video. Now I'm going to leave a link in the description below to that so that you can compare what I'm doing to that video. And this is going to be not for your average player, okay? This is going to be for advanced players and intermediate mostly. I'm guessing that this is going to take probably 4 parts to cover, so you'll have a solid month of videos on learning to play this tune. What I was going to do is break it up into 4 parts. The first part is going to be the rhythm section that they play the chords to. Second part is going to be Rice's part. Okay, he has 2 parts, but they're kind of small and they're not as lengthy as Tony's. So White's is going to be probably the second video. The third and fourth video is going to be Tony's part 1, and then the second time he takes a solo, part 2. So, like I said, you're going to have plenty of good licks to do, and this is some of Tony's best picking that I've been able to find live as well. He does some really awesome leads and licks, and there's a couple times he messes up or whatever, but that's fine. He knows where he's going. Now, what this series is not going to be is an exact note-for-note replication, okay? This is going to be, to the best of my ability, being able to play this in kind of the same way, and if there's a little minute details that really doesn't matter, I'm going to skip over that and go into the main meat of the actual course. This is probably, I'm going to try as well to maybe address some of the issues that another guy on the guitar lesson suggestion box asked for, and that was how to solo over chord changes, how to do licks and things when you're changing chords. It's a very common suggestion, very common issue, and I may do this as a separate video as well. I'm going to do some research on it because I don't know everything. I just know what I use, and there may be other things out there that may be beneficial. So I'd like to get the whole scope and the whole picture of that. So I'll probably maybe do another video of that, but I'm going to do some research first, which I have done on this series. I've been spending a couple of weeks on and off studying it, watching it, and playing along with the originally Untitled video. So that request was from a guy named Mark Ducharme, I think it's the way you pronounce his last name, D-U-C-H-A-R-M-E. Thanks, Lance Anderson and Mark, for adding these suggestions to my suggestion box. We're going to get right on into this, and I will be using my smartphone to refer to video parts on parts that I'm unsure about, or just to make sure that I'm following these along in succession. Now, the first thing you're going to hear when you play this video is they're going to be at the end of a song, and then it's going to go right into this one. And so the key is going to be in the key of G. And today as well, I'm using my Dunlop Ultex 1.14 millimeter pick. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but this is the sharp one. This is the one that's very sharp. I'm using this. It's not my main pick, but I'm using it. The main reason I use this is because it has a brighter sound, which normally I don't like. But my strings are kind of dead, so instead of using my normal Dunlop 1.14 black Tortex pick, which will make it sound kind of dull because the strings are dead, I'm going to brighten it up a little bit, make the strings sound a little bit newer by using my Ultex 1.14 millimeter pick, the sharp ones. Okay, so let's get right on into this. First of all, we have Tony and them playing immediately. They're playing and what they're doing is kind of like he's keeping the G shape, okay? He's keeping this finger on. It's going from a G to an F. And so this is kind of like an F sound, but it's not a full F. It's a G with a suspension and a 7th. So it's G7 suspended. You can also add, if you want to, the 4th note here. Because it's mirroring that C note. And in the middle of that, White is doing his and then he does his part. And from there, they're going to go into the G chord and they're going to kind of walk it down. So let's do that part real quick before we go to the actual chord changes here. So I'm basically just walking this down. You'll see Tony do this as well. Just going to continue strumming. And by the way, the strum on the first one, you just have to kind of, there's a groove to it. Then you kind of just have to watch him to get the, to get the idea of that. And that's just, you just have to experiment with that yourself and try to match that. I mean, people that are, like I said, this is going to be more advanced. And hopefully you already know some strumming techniques. If not, go to my channel and view some basic strumming. I've got some strumming videos. Just type in strum or strumming for the search engine, and some of them will pull up. But once you get a handle on those, then it's just more or less getting your right hand to perform some kind of percussive groove, okay? To perform some kind of beat. So here we go with this. Once he gets into the once he gets into that, so we're going to go into this little walk down, and the sound that we're going to have kind of in the background over all this chord stuff is okay. Now that's the G major scale going from the high G before they go into that big chord change. And here's what it sounds like. And all you're going to do is strum while you're playing these notes. And what has to happen there is your pinky has to come up and catch that note right there on the D string 4th fret. So just that part, practice that right now. Now I'm not really intentionally playing that high E string because it really doesn't fit there. So I'm kind of muting it with my right hand here with these fingers, and I do that quite a bit. And you want to kind of hit those instead of the bass note every time you're switching to them. And that's when you're getting to there, you're going to switch to a C. So now we're in C. So that's the first chord change there. And that leads you to kind of an A minor. And then you're going to use your ring finger here to come back up. Usually I just leave this finger hanging because that's an A minor 7. It's close enough. So it's bass down, up, down, up, bass down, up, down, up. Okay, so far we've got this. and then they go to this this little section. Now you'll see Tony when he's doing this. You're going to see Tony using his pinky, and that's good and well if you can do that. Your pinky's got to be fairly strong to do that. But all he's doing is he's creating a bar chord here of the B flat. He's creating a bar chord of B flat. So after you get to that, so the chords in this order is going to be B flat, A minor, B flat, C, and G, back to the G. Okay, so you get that for like 4 measures, 4 beats, or whatever you want to call it. So let's get back to that. Oops. And that's kind of tricky because you want to go immediately to that C, but you got to go to A minor first. And usually, instead of doing that whole bar, I like to do the suspension. So I'm just going to bar and make a suspended chord, a B flat suspended. Now, he goes to the C here, but you can also go to this C and slide it up. Do that one. Now that's a tough chord, as you can tell. I'm overcompensated, and already my thumb's getting kind of tired. So if you're needing a break, instead of leaving your finger here, I'd recommend going ahead and switching to your ring finger. Because, yes, you have that extra fifth down here, but you can still play a G like this. And it's going to switch so fast that it really doesn't matter if you have that fifth or not. Because this is going to hold most of the time, this chord in that little phrase. So it's holding for a while. So you couldn't even hear that the B wasn't there. I mean the D note, the fifth on the B string here, the 3rd fret, wasn't even there. It kind of matters in a way because you're getting that melody. Switch like that if you need to. Either way, give your thumb a rest, and that's basically the whole melody section. So it goes from that 2 or 3 times, then it goes to the okay, and then it does that again. But this time you'll notice the second time around, Tony goes higher on the neck and plays these chords up here. Or and that's just a variation of the chords that he's playing up here. For one thing, the first chord we go to is a B flat, right? So he's playing that up here, that B flat note. And how you play this chord is this is a B flat 6/9 that you're going to be playing, and you're going to play it like a regular G. Just think of a G here. And all you're doing is you're going to mute that A string with the back part of this finger. So it's going to be kind of leaning over the A string, not fretting it, but leaning it over. Okay? And then you're going to take this finger and bar the 2 strings right here on the 5th fret. and that's going to be the D and the G strings. And then the bottom two are going to still be on the 6th fret. On the so it's kind of like playing a G. We can make a G6-9. All we have to do is take our finger off the A string and put it on the D and G strings and bar it. Okay, that's a good chord to end songs on in a jazzy way. What I would do is, if you're going to get ready to slide to this, instead of using your ring finger for that note, just go ahead and put your middle finger there. That way you can slide right up to it. Okay, and it's kind of it's kind of difficult to get used to, because you want to bar just about everything, and it doesn't work that way. So you're just going to play this 6th fret E string. You're going to mute the A string with that finger, the middle finger. Bar these two. Now I'm not barring all the way across. If you'll notice my hand, this is the one time when you have to bar a chord like this. This is the one time that I'll allow my students to let their fingers collapse, because most of the time they'll play a G and their fingers want to do this down here, and you don't want that. You want that nice arch. Okay, but for this chord you kind of have to let your finger collapse in order to bar just 2 frets here. Okay, 2 strings. And if you've seen Brian Sutton's Secrets to Successful Flat Picking, I think is what it's called, that DVD he has from Homespun, he goes over using some of these chords in his rhythm section, and he goes over going to I think it might be in the Wild Bill Jones section. And he touches on the 11th chords and things like that. But he kind of goes over that too. But basically, it's like every other time he'll do one or the other. And he'll go from this B flat, 6-9. And then when he comes back down here, he's going down 1 fret and making an A minor 7. And that requires barring all the strings from the D string down to the E string with your ring finger, okay? You could technically do it like that, but it's a little harder. What you're going to do is kind of do this and reinforce it with that finger there. So it's back to it. So that's a good little spot to practice right there. And don't worry if you don't hit the E string, because those are the main notes. You know, that's the same note on the E string as is on the top one, and you're hitting the top one. So don't worry if you can't hit the bottom one just right. Now you can either slide up, but that takes you away. It's a far distance to go from here and squeak all the way back to the G, okay? So what he does is he does the bar chord version of the C here at the 3rd fret, 1st finger, and he puts his pinky there on the 5th fret. So it's once again, I use the suspended. And you could even get away with using the power chord, okay? You can go B flat power chord. Oh, you don't have to bar down here if you don't need to. Okay, so the first time around, it's like this. Second time around, notice how I use my middle finger here, and that's where it gets tough, because already I'm wanting to bar everything, and yet that doesn't work there. That happens the 2nd chord there, so be aware of that. So that's tough to do. That requires a little more practice, because it's just hopping back and forth between these chords. Or you can go straight to the C. It just is easier to get here from here than it is to go all the way down here. So that's a distance thing, okay? Now what what I'm going to do is, that's pretty much the lesson. What I'm going to do here is play a few measures of this, maybe twice around, so that you can, when you see the other videos that I'm going to create based on the actual melody lines, you can come back to this video and maybe jam along with it, okay? Maybe play along with it. Now the order it goes in is you got White, then you got the mandolin player, then you got Tony, and it goes back to White, and then all the way around again. Okay? At the end of the song, what they do is they're doing the melody again, but at the very end they're going to do this a couple times. Okay, so they just repeat that before they go to the G. All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a couple measures of this, and that way you can play along to it if you want to. Okay. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's do that slower, because some of you just starting to learn this will not be able to do this very well. So let's do this again in a medium tempo and slow it down, and go through it probably 2 times as well, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. So that gives you a little twist on the ending there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks to Lance Anderson for suggesting this idea. Remember, in the coming videos, I'm going to be doing the actual melody, and this will probably correspond more to Mark's question about soloing over chord changes. For now, thanks so much. Stay tuned to the next few weeks where we'll be going over this lesson extensively, this song, Tony Rice, and originally Untitled is the name of the song. It's on one of the Rice Brothers albums, if I'm not mistaken. He plays this with the Tony Rice unit. And like I said, I will leave a link below to the actual video I'm getting this from. And so thanks so much. Please click that subscribe button, click that like button if you like what you see and if you like my videos. Tell your friends about it. Comment below on your ideas, maybe on this video course, video series, whatever you want to call it. And head on over to my guitar lesson suggestion box. You can find that by going to my main channel, clicking on my little username or whatever it is, and typing in, and it should, when it brings you to my page, there should be a video called Guitar Lesson Suggestion Box. It's a playlist with the only video showing, and that's where I take all requests, and I peruse those from time to time and get an idea of what to play next when I run out of ideas myself, or I want something a little bit more fresh. A lot of you people are probably pining away for some good Tony Rice bluegrass licks again, so now that we're back into this, this should show you a smorgasbord of all the stuff that Tony's got up his sleeve. All right, so thanks so much, and I will see you in the next video. God bless, and have a great, wonderful day, and enjoy this bluegrass guitar.